On episode 18 of the Talking Shaymen podcast, I caught up with youth team coach Gavin Atherton to give us an update on the youth team's progression and to talk about the Under-19's upcoming final in the National League Academy Cup. For any fans wondering, this final will be played at Worcestershire on Wednesday the 4th of May, 7pm kick-off. Admission is free, so it would be great to see a few travelling Shaymen at the game. Finally, before we proceed any further, please like and subscribe if you do go on to enjoy today's video.
Glory shone around upon FC Halifax town.
So how's it going then with the youth team at this moment in time? Has it improved since the likes of Pete Wilder's come in?
It's made a difference. Obviously, Pete's kind of come from kind of my background from his previous career in football, so it kind of helps that he understands that the pathway from kind of youth team to first team, and it kind of gives the youth team lads an inspiration knowing that it's kind of been there and done it, and it gives them something to strive for, really.
Talking a bit about yourself then, how did you make it into coaching at Halifax in the first place?
The guy who was doing my job previously about 4 or 5 years ago, he was a friend of mine, and I was obviously working part-time at a professional club, and obviously I was doing bits of part-time work kind of in and around it as well, so it was an opportunity to come in to Halifax to work full-time as kind of the assistant youth team coach. So I ended up going through the interview process and successfully got the job. And then when the head coach kind of departed the club and went somewhere else, I then kind of got interviewed for the head coach of the role, and obviously ended up being successful.
Do you support Halifax then yourself?
I didn't do. But obviously now, since joining the club and having a good understanding of what they're about and the history and stuff, I do follow them, and I do like to see how they get on, and obviously go to the games and stuff. So yeah, I'd like to say probably I'm a fan. Yeah.
Has it improved then over the past couple of years, like the youth development, bringing players through? It obviously has, because we've had a few successful players. For example, Jay Ben's made it into the first team, broke in. We've also had the likes of Jake Hibbs, who's previously played for the club, who's broke into the first team through youth development. Has it improved?
I'd say it's improving.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing process, but definitely, since I've kind of been in the 3 years I've been here, as things have kind of tweaked and I've changed to kind of give our obviously youth team players a bigger chance and a bigger opportunity to kind of get into the first team. So it's better than what it was, and obviously Pete Wild kind of helps kind of being around it, and obviously has a keen kind of interest in youth development, and he wants to know what's going on, so that kind of helps.
Certain first teamers previously have also got involved in the youth team, haven't they? The likes of Danny Williams, I think Nathan Clark did as well. What influence did they have on the youth players?
It's massive. So when you've got someone like Danny Williams and Nathan Clark that have kind of finished their kind of professional careers, and then obviously they're coming into kind of the coaching side of stuff, they give a different perspective on coaching. So when you watch the players play the games and the lads are doing the training sessions and stuff, they can speak from a player's perspective at that level. So they give little tints and little lips to the players whilst they're doing the training sessions to kind of help them and guide them and say, look, this might be a good way of doing it this way, or your mindset might have to be something like that. And obviously, the lads are naturally going to listen to them because they've kind of been there and kind of done it and got the T-shirt. So from that perspective, it makes a big difference because they're listening to a player that's kind of been there and done it, really.
Yeah, I'm sure they do inspire them, don't they?
Yeah, it makes a massive difference. Danny Williams done quite a lot, to be honest with you. And the lads looked up to him and everything he kind of said. You can see him just stand there staring at him and listening to the information he's giving, because at that current minute in time as well, when Danny was doing his coaching badges, he was actually still playing for the first team as well. So it was a massive inspiration.
What age groups did Danny work with and Nathan?
Danny done our youth team. So he was mixing between the 17s and 18s. Nathan Clark didn't overly do a great deal, to be honest. He was in and around it, but he didn't officially take any form of group or anything like that. He just came and done a few bits and was in and around it and spoke to the lads now and then, but didn't actually physically do any coaching.
Yeah. So what is the infrastructure then surrounding Halifax? How do young players get involved? Are they scouts going to watch Sunday League games, or is it like open trials?
I think it's a mixture of everything, to be honest.
Yeah.
Steve Nicol, who's kind of the academy coordinator, academy manager, he kind of oversees like the 9s to 15, 16 program.
Yeah.
So he tries to make the program as elite as possible. So we have that kind of balance between grassroots and professional clubs.
Yeah.
So I think Steve would like to kind of see the level of players that he's got. He's in between that.
Yeah.
So some players might get looked at by obviously a scout that we have working at that kind of age groups, and players might inquire and we hold trials. So it's kind of an accumulation of everything, really.
Do you sometimes see that, for example, if a player got released from Leeds United or Sheffield United, or when Huddersfield used to have an academy, do they sometimes drop down and come to Halifax?
They inquire, yeah, they ask about it. Especially over the last couple of years now. Obviously, where the club's kind of heading in the direction, and more players and parents are starting to hear about our kind of academy program. We are kind of getting those attractions from players and parents because they know obviously how we're running, how we operate, and obviously where the pathways are as they start to get older with youth team and obviously first team and stuff. So the interest is starting to grow off the back of that, definitely.
Setting up a social media account also helps. It keeps like the team connected, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's massive. It's the way the generation is going these days. You've got to keep up with them, haven't you? With the lads, and there's all the players now have kind of Instagram and TikTok profiles and stuff, and they're always advertising themselves on there now these days. It's like a little mini platform for them, isn't it?
Yeah. So, like Nick Spooners came in, didn't he, in the summer? What role has he had on the youth team? Because he's come from quite a privileged background when you're talking about youth setups, etc.
Yeah, Nick's come in and had a very good first kind of year really with us.
Yeah.
He's obviously the experience of kind of playing and the stuff he's done at Bolton Wanderers over his years. He obviously he's come into here and he's kind of given ideas and ways on how we can not necessarily change things, but have different influences and a different voice and a different outside person to have another way of kind of looking at it. He's had a big influence kind of behind the scenes, really, Nick.
How do you develop players, and what's like your key roles, how you feel to develop players? What do you look at in a player?
Any specific age group or?
Yeah. Any age group. Let's say when they're first looking at Sunday League level and you're looking to bring a player into the youth setup.
So is that under 16s?
Yeah.
So under 16s, it's we've got to look at the player that's got like a potential really, because obviously the youth team kind of set up is running and operating at not far off like a professional Category 3 club. So when we get the players in, we've got to see kind of raw attributes that they have, and they've got to be. We've got to look at that. They've got to be coachable. We don't want a player that's going to come in and not really wanting the willingness to learn or to try and progress and push on and get better. So we've kind of got to...
Go on,
sorry.
No, go on, carry on.
So we've got to kind of look at it from that aspect as well. They've got to stand out within kind of the grassroots if we are picking a player from the grassroots. But they've also got to look at kind of the mentality and are these players willing to want to progress and want to learn, and are they going to want to kind of develop underneath us really?
Jay Ben was obviously at Clifton Rangers. Now, have you ever worked with him as a player when he was in the youth setup?
My first year when they come in, Jay Ben was in his second year of his scholarship. So I worked with Jay for the latter 6 to 8 months.
What was it like working with Jay then? What was his leadership qualities like? What was his ability like? What was his effort to work like working with him? So
all the bits that I've been saying there about players coming in around wanting to work hard and wanting to develop and wanting to push on, Jay Ben had all that in abundance.
And he's been very successful, hasn't he, with the first team now, hasn't he? He's broke into the first team, doesn't look out of place at all, despite his age, coming through the youth ranks, and it's becoming more popular trend at Halifax now, isn't it? That youth players are coming up to the first team. For example, I think pronouncing his name correctly, Donker was on the bench against, I believe it was Barnet earlier on in the season, and it's becoming a lot popular now, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had at the start of last year we had Lucas Schofield on the bench for the first team. Obviously, we've had Nick Crane, who's been on the bench for the first team.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get now players in and around it, and that's just purely because obviously players and parents are hearing about how we kind of run our kind of youth development program for the 2 years, and actually coming in and realizing that this actually is a very good program. And I know for a fact the players are going to develop under kind of us as coaching staff, and they know for a fact they've got an opportunity at first team level when it arises. So those better players are actually wanting to come to us.
Lucas Schofield, then, I wanted to talk a bit about him because he's made an appearance in the national futsal team, and I know that's something that I've heard that the youth team prioritise. They like to look at futsal at a young age, don't they?
Yeah, Steve Nicol, the academy managers, come from a very, very similar background of futsal. Obviously, his previous work is in and around kind of Brazilian soccer. So Steve's got a very, very big love for kind of futsal. And obviously myself, I'm a fully qualified futsal coach as well. So, I'm a big lover of the game.
Yeah. It does benefit the players, though, doesn't it, futsal? It's quite an enjoyable game, and it helps you touch your qualities to, be ready when the ball's coming to you. It does really benefit you, doesn't it, futsal?
Yeah, it's very fast-paced. You've got to understand to be able to receive in tight areas, to move the ball quickly, to make the quick decision-making. You've got loads of things to do, and futsal will develop that in abundance.
That's great to hear. But I want to talk a bit about the final then. Now, for any viewers listening when this is out, the academy game will be played at Worcestershire. It is against Eastleigh on the Wednesday, the 4th of May. And I believe admission's free, isn't it?
That's correct, yeah.
So it is looking good. It'd be great to get a few of the actual supporters from the first team to come along and support the lads. But I want to talk a bit about the cup run so far. How's it been? Because I believe that Halifax, the youth team, have made a cup appearance, final appearance, in 2020, I believe, but it was called off due to COVID.
Yeah, we got to the semi-finals, but due to COVID, obviously it got obviously postponed.
Yeah.
So it was unfortunate, but it's great to obviously 2 years on to be back in that situation again. So,
well, what's the cup run been like then this season for you? I believe you've played Chesterfield. You've had to defeat to get to the stage you are now. South Shields as well. What has the cup run been like?
Tough. The teams we've played have been very, very good. Obviously, we beat Darlington to go through. Yeah. Then we beat Chester, then we played Chesterfield, and then obviously we played South Shields. Yeah. So the cup run has been difficult, and always when you play teams in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, you're not going to go up against a team that's going to be easy. So it's been tough for the lads, but we've done our own work on the teams prior to playing to them. And the lads have kind of taken that into the game, and they've adapted it well, and obviously they've managed to come out with a result each time.
There are some big clubs that you've just said there, for example, Chester and Chesterfield, that we've managed to defeat to get to this stage.
Yeah, two very big clubs, and it's a privilege to be able to say that we've beat them to get to the final of the cup. Because like I said, the club with big ambitions. And even in the league, the two big teams in the league, when you're coming up against Chester and Chesterfield, for a fact you're going to be up for a game because they're two good sides. Yeah,
they've had to be resilient, I'm guessing, haven't they?
Oh, 100%, yeah. Yeah, the lads they've had to be switched on, they've had to be organised, they've had to make sure they've been wanting to work harder than the opposition. And within the cup run, we've actually been able to do that.
Talking a bit about the semis game, defeating South Shields, I believe, on penalties. What was that like?
Nerve-wracking going into the penalties. It was a good game, to be honest, for the 90 minutes. They had opportunities to kind of look to win the game. We had opportunities to look to win the game. So, to be honest with you, it could have gone either way. Obviously, again, we've done our own work on South Shield, so we kind of stopped them from playing as much as we could have done. And we obviously exploited their kind of vulnerabilities and what we feel was theirs at the time. You know, like I said, we had opportunities to put the game to bed, but then again, they had a few opportunities as well. But obviously, penalty shootout is you don't know which way it's going to go, regardless of who you're playing, do you?
Yeah, no, it doesn't at all. I'm sure England's first team could probably take a few tips from that based on history with our cup tournaments based on penalty shootouts. But yeah, it's good to see that the youth team's doing so well, and they've got Eastleigh coming up, haven't they? And that won't be an easy test, as Eastleigh do have quite a good youth setup too.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Eastleigh, to be honest with you. But from previous experience and the people that I've spoken to, like you just said, Eastleigh seems to have a very, very good youth team. So it's going to be tough, but regardless like who you play in the final, regardless if it's Eastleigh or whoever, they're not going to be an easy team, are they? They're going to be very good. So
if they've got to the final too. I'm sure a lot of people will be wanting to go to that game. Would you have like a message to try and encourage fans from the first team to go to this game?
Yeah, definitely. Look, you know, the youth team 9 times out of 10 at any club is not kind of overly massively supported. So, you know, it'd be great for the Halifax Town fans to kind of, you know, to come and see the youth team and come actually see what little bit of talent we've actually got in there and, you know, come and show you support for the lads, really.
Yeah. Gavin, that more or less wraps things up. Gavin, I really do appreciate you coming on this evening to discuss all things Youth Academy. Hopefully the under-19s can get the job done and bring the cup back to Halifax Town. I believe it would be the first time that the youth team has won a cup in many years, so it would be a significant achievement, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be fantastic, you know, for the players and us staff and even the club. Like I said, it'd be great to bring the cup back home to Halifax. So, you know, fingers crossed the lads can do the job on a day, really.
Thank you for coming on, Gavin.
Brilliant, Luke. Thanks for your time.
That was just a quick chat with Head of Youth Team Development, Gavin Atherton. If you did enjoy today's video, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. It was a great chat with Gavin, talking a bit about the youth team and how their plans to develop the youth team in the future, what's going on at this moment in time, and hopefully it connects with you guys who don't particularly know too much about the youth setup at Halifax Town. Finally, please like and subscribe, as I've just said, and I will see you on Thursday night for another edition to the Talking Shaymen podcast. Thank you.
War is shone around upon FC Halifax Town.